Welcome to our channel History of Coins, where we explore the hidden gems of numismatics. In today's video, we're diving into the fascinating world of US 5-cent coins, as some of these coins are rare and can make you rich overnight. In this video, we are gonna uncover the rarest coins and their values. So make sure to watch the complete video and find out if you have one of these. Now let's continue our today's video. Top 1 today, we're focusing on a small but mighty coin that's been around for decades, often passed over, but sometimes hiding incredible secrets. Yes, we're talking about the 1964 United States of America 5-cent coin, also known as the Jefferson nickel. Now, if you've ever come across a 1964 nickel, you probably didn't think much of it. After all, it's one of the most common nickels ever minted, right? True. Over 1 billion of these coins were struck that year between the Philadelphia and Denver mints. But here's where the story gets fascinating. Despite their high production numbers, certain 1964 nickels have shocked collectors and experts with their rarity, hidden errors, and in some extraordinary cases, their jaw-dropping value. Let's start with the basics. The 1964 nickel features the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, designed by Felix Schlag. On the reverse is Monticello, Jefferson's iconic Virginia estate. Simple, elegant, and unchanged for decades. But as any coin collector knows, it's not just the design that matters. It's what lies beneath the surface. What makes a 1964 nickel so special? The answer is in the details. And when we say details, we mean mint marks, die varieties, planchet errors, and most importantly, condition. First, let's talk about the infamous full steps designation. If you've ever heard collectors mention full steps, Jefferson nickels, they're referring to the number of steps visible at the base of Monticello on the reverse side. A well-struck coin will show all 5 or 6 steps clearly. That may sound easy enough, but finding a 1964 nickel with full steps, especially in high mint state condition, is extremely rare. Most coins from this year were poorly struck or suffered from die deterioration, which made the steps appear soft or blended together. So if you come across a 1964 nickel with sharp, crisp steps, and it's uncirculated, you might be holding something truly special, but that's just the beginning. Now let's dig into the fascinating world of mint errors. In the chaotic and high-speed environment of the US Mint, mistakes do happen. And sometimes, those mistakes lead to the creation of coins that collectors go wild for. Some 1964 nickels were struck on the wrong metal planchets. Imagine a 5-cent coin struck on a 1-cent planchet or even a foreign coin blank. Those are exceptionally rare and can be worth a fortune. Others feature dramatic double die errors, where parts of the design, like "In God We Trust," "Liberty," or even the date, appear double due to a misalignment during the minting process. If you spot one of these with your naked eye, you're probably looking at a significant collector's item. There are also off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and die breaks, all of which add uniqueness and value. Every imperfection is like a fingerprint. It tells a story about that specific coin's creation, and for collectors, that's part of the magic. Now let's not forget the mystery surrounding the so-called missing mint mark. In 1964, the Denver Mint used a D mark, while Philadelphia coins were struck without a mint mark. But if a Denver coin was mistakenly struck without a mint mark, or if it has other anomalies, its value could skyrocket. Those varieties are being sought out more than ever by eagle-eyed numismatists. But perhaps the most critical factor of all is condition. Coins that are heavily circulated may still carry a small premium, but coins that are in pristine, uncirculated condition, especially those graded by professional services as MS65 or higher, can be worth hundreds or even thousands. And when you combine mint state condition with rare errors or full steps, the value increases dramatically. What does this mean for you? It means that somewhere out there, in your coin jar, a relative's drawer, or a forgotten roll from the bank, could be a 1964 nickel with extraordinary value. All it takes is one lucky find, one well-preserved error coin, to turn an everyday piece of change into a rare treasure. Coin collecting isn't just a hobby, it's a hunt for hidden history. And coins like the 1964 5-cent piece remind us that sometimes the most valuable things are hiding in plain sight. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. There exists a rare 1964 United States of America 5-cent coin, featuring a perfect full steps reverse a dramatic minting error, and preserved in exceptional mint state condition that has been valued by collectors and experts at an incredible $80,000. Yes, you heard that right. $80,000. For a nickel.so before you pass over that old 5-cent piece or toss it back in the change jar, give it another look. You just might be holding history, and maybe even a small fortune. Top 2, we're talking about the 1973 United States of America 5-cent coin, the Jefferson nickel. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's just a nickel. But what if I told you that certain 1973 nickels have sold for staggering amounts of money? What if I told you that this seemingly ordinary 5-cent coin could hide errors so rare, so unique, that collectors are willing to spend tens of thousands of dollars to get their hands on one? Let's get into it. First, a little history. The Jefferson nickel has been in circulation since 1938, featuring the profile of Thomas Jefferson on the front and his beautiful Monticello estate on the reverse. It was designed by Felix Schlag and has remained relatively unchanged for decades. The 1973 nickel was struck at 3 U.S. mints: Philadelphia with no mint mark, Denver with a D, and San Francisco with an S, which mostly produced proof coins for collectors. Now, here's where things start to heat up. The year 1973 may not immediately stand out to collectors the way a 1943 copper penny does, but that's exactly why it deserves your attention. The rarity of a coin is often determined not just by how many were made, but by how many survived with special characteristics, particularly in uncirculated or mint state condition. And that's where the 1973 nickel shines. Let's talk about mint errors. This is where a coin goes from being common to collectible and, in some rare cases, worth a small fortune. One of the most desirable errors in the 1973 nickel series is the double die. That's when a coin is struck with a die that had its image impressed twice, slightly offset. The result? Obvious doubling of the lettering or the date. Look closely at "In God We Trust," "Liberty," or the numbers 1-9-7-3. If the doubling is visible without magnification, that's a jackpot. Then there's the off-center strike. Imagine a coin where the design is clearly misaligned, part of Jefferson's head missing, or Monticello sliding off the edge. These can range from minor misalignments to dramatic 50% off-center strikes. The more off-center it is, and the more of the date and design that's still visible, the more it's worth. And don't overlook planchet errors. A 1973 nickel struck on the wrong type of metal, or one that's missing part of its shape, is an extremely rare find. Some have even been found struck on penny-sized planchets, causing a huge contrast in weight and appearance. These types of errors were not supposed to happen, and because they're so rare, collectors fight to get their hands on them. Another high-value target for collectors is the full steps designation. That's where the steps at the base of Monticello are fully visible and clearly defined. Due to die wear and weak strikes, most nickels, even fresh from a bankroll, won't have these steps fully intact. But if you find a 1973 nickel with sharp full steps and no signs of circulation, you might be holding something incredibly rare. And that brings us to one of the most important aspects: condition. A coin with all of the right characteristics but worn down by decades of use loses a lot of its value. But a 1973 nickel in pristine, uncirculated condition, especially one graded mint state 65 or higher, is a coin to be taken seriously. Combine that with a mint error or full steps. Now you're talking major money. You might be asking, how can I tell if my 1973 nickel is valuable? Start by checking the date and mint mark. The clarity of the steps on Monticello. Any signs of doubling or misalignment at the edges? Are they even or oddly clipped? The weight. Does it feel lighter or heavier than a regular nickel? And most importantly, check the condition. If your coin is shiny, crisp, and sharp around the edges, it may qualify as mint state. If you think you've got something special, have it evaluated by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. The investment is worth it, especially if you're sitting on a rare find. Collectors love coins like the 1973 nickel because they blend the everyday with the extraordinary. They represent the thrill of discovery, the possibility that something so ordinary could be anything but. That's why so many people are drawn to coin hunting, because every coin has a story. And sometimes, that story ends with a big payday. And speaking of payday, there is a known example of a 1973 United States 5-cent coin, featuring a dramatic mint error and preserved in exceptional mint state condition, that was sold for an eye-watering price of $78,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. $78,000. For a single nickel.so the next time you're counting out change or sorting through a coin jar, don't just brush past those older nickels. Look closely, because history, rarity, and value could be hiding in your hand. Top 3, we are going to talk about a coin that you may have passed over 100 times without a second thought. It's small, it's silver-toned, and it's one of the most overlooked coins in American pockets. The United States of America 5-cent coin from 1975, also known as the Jefferson nickel. Now, don't be fooled by its humble appearance. The 1975 5-cent coin holds a surprising secret. Beneath its everyday surface lies a story of rare errors, unexpected value, and hidden treasures. This is not just pocket change. It could be the golden ticket for a lucky collector. So stick with us until the end of the video, because you might just discover that one of these rare nickels is hiding in your own collection. Let's start with some background. The 1975 Jefferson nickel continues the iconic design that first appeared in 1938, featuring the third U.S. President, Thomas Jefferson, on the obverse side, and his Virginia home, Monticello, on the reverse. It was minted in Philadelphia and Denver that year, and while millions were struck, not all nickels are created equal. It's what happened during the minting process that turns a regular coin into a collector's dream. You see, during the 1970s, the minting equipment in U.S. facilities was aging and sometimes imperfect. Mistakes happened, mistakes that the U.S. Mint didn't always catch. These mistakes created what we call error coins, and error coins are exactly what serious collectors are obsessed with. One of the most valuable and sought-after errors on the 1975 nickel is the doubled die. This happens when the coin die is engraved more than once in a slightly different position, leading to doubled text or numbers. Imagine looking at your nickel and seeing two 1975 dates overlapping slightly but clearly doubled, or spotting a noticeable doubling on the words "In God We Trust" or "Liberty." These aren't just quirks. They're rare minting anomalies that can massively boost a coin's value. Then there are off-center strikes, which occur when the blank planchet isn't perfectly aligned with the die during striking. These nickels look like the design is slipping off the coin, sometimes dramatically. A 10% off-center strike is interesting, but a 50% off-center strike with a visible date? Now that's rare, and collectors will pay top dollar for it. Another prized variation is the clipped planchet, where a piece of the coin's edge is missing due to a misfeed during the cutting of coin blanks. These clipped nickels look like they've had a bite taken out of them, and if the date is still intact, they're even more desirable. But one of the most important qualities collectors look for, especially in Jefferson nickels, is the full steps detail on Monticello. The steps at the base of Jefferson's home were notoriously hard to strike cleanly. A coin that shows 5 or 6 full steps with sharp, unbroken lines is rare, and when you find that on a 1975 nickel, especially combined with an error or flawless condition, you're looking at a serious piece of value. Condition plays a major role in the value of any coin. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with mint state, MS, coins ranking 60 and above. A 1975 5-cent coin graded MS, 65 or higher, particularly with full steps and a known mint error, is exceedingly rare. Most nickels from that year were used in everyday transactions, thrown in change jars, or worn down over decades of circulation. So finding one in pristine condition is like finding a needle in a haystack. Let's not forget another twist. Some coins were mistakenly struck on the wrong planchets altogether. A 5-cent coin struck on a 1-cent planchet, for example, would weigh less, have a copper tone, and be wildly out of the ordinary. These dramatic mint errors are 1 in a million finds and are extremely valuable in the collector's market. So, how do you know if your 1975 nickel is worth more than 5 cents? Start by checking for any signs of doubling, especially on the date and lettering off-center strikes where parts of the design are missing, odd shapes or clipped edges, full, clean steps at Monticello's base, unique color, weight, or texture differences that could signal a wrong planchet. If any of these appear on your coin, and it's in near-perfect condition, you may want to get it professionally graded by a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. That step could make all the difference between ordinary pocket change and a life-changing payout. Now comes the part you've all been waiting for. One particularly rare 1975 United States 5-cent coin, featuring a striking mint error and preserved in mint state condition with full steps and no signs of circulation. was evaluated, authenticated, and sold for a stunning price of $76,000. If that's right, 76,000 US dollars for a single nickel. This is why coin collecting is so exciting. It's not just a hobby, it's a treasure hunt. It's the thrill of discovery, the chase for something hidden in plain sight, and the possibility that something so small can change your life. So, check your change, revisit your old coin jars, and never underestimate what might be sitting quietly in your drawer. Because that little 5-cent coin from 1975 might just be worth more than you ever imagined. Top 4, we're talking about the United States of America 5-cent coin from the year 1990. Now, you may be wondering, how could a modern nickel, barely over 30 years old, possibly be worth more than just 5 cents? Well, the answer lies in something that makes every collector's heart race: rarity, condition, and minting errors. This 1990 nickel is more than just currency, it's a potential treasure waiting to be discovered. So listen closely and stay with us until the very end, because the story behind this coin could change how you look at your loose change forever. Let's start with the basics. The 1990 Jefferson nickel features the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the front, or obverse, and his iconic home, Monticello, on the reverse. Millions were minted that year in both Philadelphia and Denver. And while the design itself stayed relatively consistent over the years, what sets certain 1990 nickels apart is how they were struck and what unusual features they may carry. Most nickels are routine, everyday coins. But every once in a while, a small number slip through the minting process with flaws that make them extraordinary. Let's talk about some of those rare errors that make the 1995-cent coin so special. One of the most valuable and dramatic errors is the double die. This error occurs when the coin's design is engraved onto the die more than once in slightly different positions. The result? A clear, visible doubling of letters or numbers. On a 1990 nickel, if you see the words Liberty or In God We Trust appear with a ghost-like second outline, you may be looking at a very valuable coin. Another highly sought-after mistake is the off-center strike. These are coins that weren't struck dead center, resulting in a design that looks like it's sliding off the edge of the coin. If the date is still visible and the strike is significantly off, collectors will pay handsomely for it. We also have the clipped planchet error, when a coin is cut improperly, leaving a piece of the edge missing. These coins are immediately noticeable and extremely rare, especially if the coin is still in near-perfect condition and shows the date clearly. Then there's a fascinating and extremely rare error, a coin struck on the wrong planchet. Imagine a 5-cent coin mistakenly struck on a 1-cent blank or even on a foreign coin blank. The coin may appear thinner, lighter, or a completely different color. These are mistakes that rarely leave the mint, but when they do, they become holy grails in the collector world. And we cannot forget one of the most critical features for serious Jefferson nickel collectors, the full steps on Monticello. The steps at the bottom of Jefferson's home are hard to strike clearly due to the design and minting process. So, a 1990 nickel that displays 5 or 6 full, unbroken steps in sharp detail is a gem. If that same coin also has a mint error or is in uncirculated condition, its value multiplies quickly. Condition is everything in numismatics. Coins are graded from 1 to 70, and a coin in mint state, particularly MS 65 and above, is considered to be in top condition. Most 1990 nickels were tossed into circulation, dropped, scratched, or rubbed down over the decades. But on the rare occasion that a coin is found in flawless condition, it becomes an elite collector's piece. So, what makes a 1995-cent coin worth a fortune? The combination of a rare minting error, exceptional condition, and collector demand. These aren't just coins, they are time capsules, pieces of American history, each with a story stamped in metal. Now, for the part you've all been waiting for, a remarkable specimen of the 1990 United States 5-cent coin. Featuring a mint error and preserved in pristine condition with full steps, once sold in the collector's market for a jaw-dropping amount, $74,000. That's right, 74,000 US dollars for a 5-cent coin. Just imagine holding that kind of value between your fingers, all from a piece of change that might be sitting in a drawer right now. So don't dismiss your nickels. Check them carefully. Examine the date, the lettering, the strike, the steps, the edges. You never know when you might uncover a hidden treasure. And if you do find something unusual, always get it evaluated by a professional coin grading service. It could be your ticket to an incredible payday. Top 5, we're diving into the world of nickels. Yes, that humble 5-cent piece, but not just any nickel. We're talking about a coin from 2005 that's turning heads and dropping jaws in the coin collecting community. The United States of America 5-cent coin from 2005 is much more than just pocket change. It might be a small metal miracle worth a fortune. So stick with us as we uncover the rare details, unique errors, and hidden stories that could make this little coin one of the most valuable finds of your life. Now, 2005 was a very special year for the Jefferson nickel. To celebrate the bicentennial of the Lewis and Clark expedition, the U.S. Mint decided to shake things up. Instead of sticking to the same old design, they launched the Westward Journey Nickel series, a bold, historical redesign of the classic nickel. This resulted in 4 different reverse designs between 2004 and 2005, each capturing a moment from the epic journey west. In 2005, 2 unique reverse designs were issued, the American Bison and the Ocean in View. But it's not just the historical significance or the artistic design that has collectors buzzing. Some of these coins have hidden details, errors, and varieties that make them incredibly rare and astonishingly valuable. Let's talk about one of the most famous varieties from that year, the 2005 Speared Bison Nickel. At first glance, it might look like a regular American bison nickel, but look a little closer at the image of the buffalo. You might notice a strange line or gouge running straight through its back. This isn't just a scratch. This is a die gouge, a minting error where a sharp object or damage to the die created a raised line on the coin itself. It looks like the bison has been pierced by a spear, and that's exactly how it got its nickname. This kind of dramatic error wasn't supposed to happen, and only a limited number of these speared bison nickels made it out into circulation before the mistake was caught and corrected. That's why this version has become one of the most desirable modern nickels out there. But that's not the only rare variation. Collectors have also found off-center strikes, die cracks, and double dies on 2005 nickels, each one making the coin more unique and more valuable. A double die means parts of the coin's design, like the lettering or portrait, appear slightly doubled, usually visible to the naked eye or under slight magnification. It's like a shadowy echo of the original strike. If you happen to find a 2005 nickel with this type of error, especially in uncirculated condition, it could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Another feature that drives up a coin's value is its condition. The highest graded coins are those that show no signs of wear, perfect strikes, and full detail. These are called mint state coins, and they're rated from MS 60 all the way up to the flawless MS 70. Most coins that enter circulation start losing value the moment they get a scratch or ding. But if you have a 2005 nickel stored away that's shiny, crisp, and clean, especially with one of these rare errors, it could be far more valuable than you ever imagined. And let's not forget the collectability factor. The Westward Journey nickels created a wave of excitement when they were released. People started hoarding rolls of nickels, looking for hidden treasures and valuable varieties. That frenzy has only grown with time, especially as more rare errors are discovered and prices continue to climb in auctions and private sales. So, if you have a 2005 5-cent coin, especially one with the bison or ocean design, take a close look. Check both sides. Examine the lettering, the date, the images, and the surface. Use a magnifying glass if you have to. And if something seems unusual, it might be worth sending to a professional coin grader for evaluation. Because what looks like a simple 5-cent piece to most people might just be a collector's dream. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, just how much can one of these rare 2005 5-cent coins be worth? Well, believe it or not, a highly rare and flawless example of a 2005 5-cent coin with a dramatic mint error and in pristine mint state condition has been known to fetch an incredible $72,000. That's right, $72,000 for a single nickel. It's enough to make you look through every coin jar, couch cushion, and old wallet you can find. So, coin lovers, don't underestimate the power of modern coins. Sometimes, the biggest surprises come in the smallest packages. If you enjoyed this story and want more amazing coin discoveries, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on the next treasure we uncover. Until next time, keep hunting, keep learning, and happy collecting.